Hello students, today we are going to learn the chapter 18th century political formation, which is the chapter 10th of grade 7th history, and we will start this chapter and we will try to learn that what important things are mentioned in this chapter. Let's start and move on. Introduction. By 1765, the British has captured major chunks of Indian territory in eastern India. After Aurangzeb's death, the Mughal Empire started to decline because of weak and inefficient rulers. States like Hyderabad, Awadh, Bengal, and states under the control of Sikhs and Marathas declared independence. Means they were no longer a part of the Mughal Empire, and they told that if the Mughal Empire emperor wants to fight with us, we are ready, but we are no more the part of the Mughal Empire. The declining power of the Mughals also gave rise to the regional powers like the Jats in the western part of India, Sikh again in the western part of India, and Marathas in the southern part of India or central southern part of India. We can say Marathas basically currently we can say the area which is under their control is the present day Gujarat, Maharashtra, parts of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. These were the areas under Maratha control. Sikh were ruling in the area which is present day Punjab, Haryana and Delhi region, and Jats were again ruling in the Haryana region. Currently the Haryana region is there for Faridabad, Ballabgarh, which you are listening. Nearby that area the Jats were living. In 1707, Aurangzeb died and third battle of Panipat took place in 1761. Next, you will see that in your NCERT book on page number 138, 139, you are having a map. In that we are seeing that state formations in the 18th century, how the different states were formed by this. And again, you will see that British territories in the mid 18th century. So the major cause for all these decline and all these independence or all these separate kingdoms was the British and their policies, which we will later learn in grade 7th. After this, you will see here are some of the plunderers or the rulers who came, and they are in series. You can see there in different parts or the different scenario of time they came. And first you can see that Ahmad Shah Abdali is there who came, and Nadir Shah is there. Both plundered Delhi, they looted Delhi. And apart from that, Burhan ul Mulk Sadat Khan is there, and this I'd say like your Asaf Jah is there. So they were the Nawabs, and how they ruled and what different things they did, we will be seeing one by one. Now, the crisis of the empire and later Mughals. After reaching its zenith, the Mughal Empire started declining under Emperor Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb was not a kind man, and before him whomsoever ruled the particular territory or the empire was having something good in them, but during the time of Aurangzeb, the rules which were changed by Akbar, like the Jizya tax and other things, they were again imposed by Aurangzeb to gain more and more, and due to that the public was more harassed. This was because the Aurangzeb military and religious policy which depleted the financial resources of the Mughals. So due to these both policies, their finance were declining day by day. Under his successors, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. Means how to rule from the center, like the central government is there, like that they were unable to rule now, and now they were facing the problem. So this under his successors, the administration or imperial administration, means the rule of the king from the center to various parts of the kingdom broke down. It became difficult to check governors and mansabdars. Suppose I am sitting in Delhi and one of my governors or mansabdars is in Bengal or Odisha. How will I every day go and check that what he is doing, what he is not doing, whether he is giving me right details, whether he is paying me right taxes, whatever things are there. So this became the difficulty. And the midst of the crisis, Nadir Shah invasion in 1739 and invasions of Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali between 1748-1761 weakened the Mughal Empire. So these were the time when these Nadir Shah, Ahmad Shah Abdali, they attacked on Mughal Empire, and they totally looted everything from Delhi, as they say, or what the history says. When you will read it thoroughly, you will find that they have left the city of nowhere. The honorability was isolated into two major groups, Iranis and Turanis. They did not trusted anyone from Indian background. So now you know that this is basically some conversions were also there. Some of the Hindus were also, or the basically Indians were also converted into Muslims. But those converted Muslims were not treated as the right ones, and still the Mughal Empire did not trusted anyone to give the rule, and they were basically depending on the Iranis who came from Iran and Turanis who came from Turkey. So those people were only made nobles, and they were only the trusted ones of the Mughal Empire. For a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hands of either one or the other of these two power groups. So Mughals had to follow them, and whatever they were saying, they need to follow them, and that was the thing. And they were like puppets to the Iranis and Turanis, the Mughals itself. The emergence of the new states. With the decline of Mughal authority, now the Mughal authority was of nowhere. The governors consolidated their authority. Broadly speaking, the states were divided into three overlapping groups. Means now the whole empire was divided into three overlapping groups. Means they were certain important persons of their empire only, but now they were raising their words, they were raising their power, and now they were coming into the existence. Old Mughal provinces like Awadh, Bengal and Hyderabad states, which enjoyed consideration in independence like Watan Jagirs and several Rajput territories, they started declining themselves independent. The last group included like Marathas, Sikh and the Jats. So slowly they all were leaving the empire, and they told that we will form our separate empires, we will declare ourselves independence. The old Mughal provinces, these included the states of Awadh, Bengal and Hyderabad. Hyderabad's state was founded by Nizam-ul-Mulk Asaf Jah, as you have seen in the picture. This photo is available there. At this time, Hyderabad was in a constant battle with Marathas and Telugu warrior chief, since Asaf Jah wanted to control the rich Coromandel coast. So what Asaf Jah wanted to control? The Coromandel coast. You know that 4 coasts are there in India, 5 coasts are there in India, and Coromandel is one of important. So he wanted to control, so that trade must be done there. However, with the British strengthening in the east, he was kept in check. Means when the Britishers were strengthening and Britishers were taking control over the border, Odisha or Bengal, at that time he was there, and he tried to reduce the power of the Britishers. Awadh was founded by Saadat Khan. The rich alluvial plains allowed development of this region. Means the Ganga and the Yamuna river is there, and apart from that many rivers are there, the Kali river and different rivers are there. When you will look at the map of Uttar Pradesh properly, you will find that why this region was always rich in alluvial soil, and that's why more grains were grown, and that is only he has collected as tax. That why Awadh was important. Bengal was founded by Murshid Quli Khan. Murshid Quli Khan was also the Nawab of Bengal, and he founded Bengal at that time. He commanded revenue administration of the state. Under Alivardi Khan, the state became prosperous. Hyderabad. Nizam-ul-Mulk Asaf Jah, the founder of Hyderabad state 1724 to 1748, was one of the most powerful members of the court of the Mughal emperor Farrukh Siyar. So Farrukh Siyar was the emperor at that time, and there Nizam Asaf Jah was the powerful member, and later he declared himself as the ruler of Hyderabad. First got governorship of Awadh. First he got the chance to rule over Awadh, and later given the charge of Deccan. And once he took good control over Awadh, then he was sent to South India, and there in the Deccan part was there where he gained control. Between 1720 to 22, he gained control over the political and financial administration. He became the actual ruler of the region by taking advantage of the turmoil in Deccan. Means there no proper ruler was there, so he was taking advantage, and now he wanted to rule that region. Asaf Jah brought skilled soldiers and administrators from the North India who welcomed the opportunities in the south. So means they want to say that in South India the people were not having good ruling capacity, so from North India they bought some of the rulers or some of the people who were working as administrators there, and they ruled in such a manner that they were able to took control over South India properly. He ruled independently without any Mughal interference. No Mughal emperor were disturbing him, but the way he was ruling, nobody was there to interfere him. Hyderabad was constantly under struggle from Marathas in the west and independent Telugu warrior chiefs, Nayakas of the plateau. So now in the Andhra region, we know that the Telugu language is there. So the Telugu people were there, and there the rulers or the various rulers were known as the Nayakas. And the Marathas from Maharashtra were regularly having a fight with Asafjah and his members. British failed his plan to of capture the textile rich Coromandel coast in the east. So in Coromandel coast there were many textile plants were there, many textile producing centers were there, which were under the control of Britishers. He tried to control that Coromandel coast, but he failed because Britishers did not allow him to capture that area. They fought them and sent them back. The Nizam had a savari of 400 elephants and several thousand of horsemen near his person, who received upwards 100 rupees nominal pay. So at that time, in that 17th century, imagine that time some person is giving 100 rupees as salary. So what that one, and here 1 rupee means a coin of silver, which is to currently present day, if you will go to buy, it will cost approximately 4,000 to 5,000 rupees. So you can imagine that what 100 rupees means there. And 400 elephants, when a Nizam is moving out, 400 elements are at back of him, 1,000 of person on horses are at back of him. So that was the power of Nizam at that time. Awadh. Burhanul Mulk Sadat Khan was appointed subadar of Awadh in 1722. Means as a person who was taking control over the Suba or looking after the Suba, like a king you can say, and founded a state which was one of the most important to emerge out of the break of the Mughal Empire. So Awadh was the another state which came out of the Mughal Empire, and there Burhanul Mulk Sadat Khan was ruling. Awadh was a prosperous region controlling the rich alluvial plain, Ganga plain, and the main trade route between the North India and Bengal. So you know that the north-south corridor is there and east-west corridor is there. So from the east-west corridor we can find that the way is there, or basically the Grand Trunk Road built by Sher Shah Suri. So that is only the basic route from where you can say that from Kashmir to Bengal a route is going, and that route was built way back in 15th century. So you can imagine that how this thing had been working. So that route became a trade route also, and with that area was fertile also. Burhanul Mulk also held the combined offices of Subadari, Diwani and Faujdari. So he did not give these things to another person. So he held all these offices and looked after these things himself, that nobody can make any sort of disturbance or any sort of treasury leak. In other words, he was responsible for managing the political, financial and military affairs of the province of Awadh. Means politically also he was only controlling, financially also he was controlling, and military affairs only he was only seeing. Burhanul Mulk tried to decrease the Mughal influence in the Awadh region by reducing the number of office holders, Jagirdars, appointed by the Mughals. So what he did, now he was not under the Mughal control, so the Jagirdars were there, he sent them. He sent them to different places, he sent them to Orissa and other places, and he told that no need you look after this, limited number of people will look after these things, and the Mughal officers who have came, they may go back to Delhi again. He also reduced the size of the Jagirs and appointed his own loyal servant to vacant positions. So what he did, his own loyal persons were coming to those positions, and size of the Jagirs. Imagine that something is earlier 10 acres, so now he has made it 5 acres or 4 acres, like that he has decreased the size of the Jagirs. The account of Jagirdars were checked to prevent cheating, and the revenues of all districts were reassessed by officials appointed by Nawab court. So what Nawab was doing again, he was keeping person to keep an eye on all the people who were collecting the revenues and keeping the revenues. He seized a number of Rajput Jamindaris and the agriculturally fertile lands of the Afghans of Rohilkhand. So Rohilkhand place is there in the North India, and there he took the Jamindari from the Rajput Zamindars and take it under his own control. The state dependent on local bankers and Mahajans for loans. So again a new term is coming, local bankers and Mahajans. So who were these local bankers and Mahajans? They were basically the persons who were giving loans. The revenue farmers who were collecting money from this particular Mahajans, and they were doing farming. So they were known as the ijaradars, and they agreed to pay a state a fixed sum of money to these Mahajans. It sold a right to collect tax to the highest bidders. So those who were giving the highest tax, they were getting the land for doing, or the money for doing the agricultural work. Local bankers guaranteed the payment of the contracted amount to the state. Means whatever the amount was being contracted, that was paid to the state or the government there. In turn, the revenue farmers were given considerable freedom in the assessment and collection of the taxes. So these revenue farmers were again given some rebate that they should give taxes according to their will. These developments allow new social groups like money lenders and bankers to influence the management of the state's revenue system, something which is not occurred in the past. So earlier they were not having any such opportunity, but later on they got such opportunities in which they can use these benefits. Bengal gradually broke away from Mughal control under Murshid Quli Khan, who was appointed as the Naib, deputy to the governor of the province. What is a Naib? Means basically a landholder or who is having a control over the area. So that is a Naib. Naib means like you will go in Haryana, Punjab, you will get a post is there, Naib Tehsildar. He is taking control over the land, and whatever land revenues is being collected, that is being collected by him. He is the officer. If you go there and you want to have a land or a piece of land get in your name, then he can only help you. He will only put their signature and the things will happen. Very quickly he seized the power that went with his office. Like the rulers of Hyderabad and above, he also commanded the revenue administration of the state. So whatever revenue was there, he commanded over all those things and took all the revenues under his control. In an effort to reduce Mughal influence in Bengal, he transferred all Mughal Jagirdars to Orissa and ordered a major reassessment of the revenues of Bengal. So again what he did, Murshid Quli Khan, he sent in Bengal, he tried to control, took total control. So whichever Mughal Jagirdars came to the West Bengal from Delhi, those all were transferred to Orissa that they may not interfere in the work of Murshid Quli Khan. Watan Jagirs of the Rajputs. Many Rajput kings, particularly those belonging to Amber and Jodhpur, which are the districts currently in Rajasthan, had served under the Mughals with distinction. So why? Because they were having family ties with them and all those things were there. So they were having good relation. So they were basically the Watan Jagirdars, they were appointed that opportunity. They got a considerable autonomy and thus were called Watan Jagirdars. Means they were like, their Watan means your own homeland. So their homeland was not taken from them and they were ruling on their own homeland under the suzerainty of the Mughal Empire, and they were fixed to pay, allowed to pay a fixed amount of tax to the Mughal Empire. Maratha expansion after the 1740s put the restriction on the growth of Rajput expansion. So currently what you are seeing, that Maratha Empire, or you read about Chhatrapati Shivaji, very small part is there, but you will be amazed to know that this Maratha Empire expanded from Karnataka, your parts of Telangana, parts of Madhya Pradesh, parts of Uttar Pradesh, parts of Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, and up to Himachal. That area the Maratha Empire expanded. You will go in, just a simple example I will give you. When you will go to Ambala, there is Amba Devi temple is there. That Amba Devi temple is basically on the name, city has got the name from that Amba Devi temple, and that Amba Devi temple was established by the Marathas only. So this is the amazing thing which you will find when you will go through certain places. And the forts which you are seeing, we call Kila to it in Hindi. So that forts which you are seeing there, so those forts are very similar. Here in Ambala or Haryana and Punjab also, when you go, you will find forts similar what are being present in Maharashtra also, and that forts only you will see in Punjab and Haryana also. So you will get amazed that how both things can be similar and so much distance is there. So it is so because the Maratha went there and they captured those areas, and there they had developed these certain things, and finally they seized independence. Means they were capturing and they were having their own control over their land and they were not under the Mughal rules. The Sikh arose as a power under Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who inspired the Khalsa with a belief that their destiny was to rule. So Guru Gobind Singh was the 10th Guru of the Sikh community, and he gave that you all, because they were from most of the people were from the lower community of as considered at that time. So Guru Gobind Singh told that it is not the term that you are from a higher community or a lower community. It is only the thing that if power is within you, you can change the world. So that was the thing, and he made Khalsa, and there he made some people to come with him who would fight in the time of war and help him. Maharaja Ranjit Singh reunited the Sikh as a powerful group and established his capital at Lahore in 1799. So which is in Pakistan, that was a part of India earlier in 1799. The Marathas. Shivaji from 1627 to 1680 created a powerful regional Maratha kingdom which stood bravely against the Mughal rule. So they were doing the guerrilla warfare and they were hitting the Mughal Empire. He challenged the Mughal presence in the Indian peninsular region. Subsequently, after his death, his Peshwas took charge. Also, the Peshwas took the Maratha regime to higher military levels. Maratha collected huge revenue from taxes of church, taxes of chauth and Sardeshmukhi in the entire region. So what was the chauth? Chauth means 1/4 and Sardeshmukhi 1/10. Maratha chief included Peshwa, Sindhya, Gaikwad, Bhosle. Their territory touched near Delhi in the peak stages. The Jats. The Jats under Chudaman controlled territories towards the west of Delhi. They were prosperous agriculturalists. Under Surajmal, the kingdom of Bharatpur emerged as a strong state, which you can see in Rajasthan now, Bharatpur. Jats even built a garden palace at Dig. Its buildings were modelled on architectural forms first associated with royalty under Shah Jahan. So last you can see here the concept map of this chapter is there. 18th century political formation. You can see that the emergence of the new state. Later Mughals who were there, successors of Aurangzeb were called later Mughals. And in 1707 Aurangzeb died. Shah Alam ruled from 1707 to 1712. Jalandhar Shah ruled from 1712 to 1713. Farooq Shah ruled from 1713 to 1719. Muhammad Shah ruled from 1719 to 1748. The efficiency of the imperial administration broke down after that. Crisis under the later Mughals were, first was the economic and political crisis. They were not having money. And second thing, the ruler was not appropriate. Second, the invasion of Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali, as we earlier read, what happened at that time. They plundered, like the Peacock throne was also taken by them. Next is the governors consolidated their control over their provinces. Means most of the governors now declared themselves independent. And peasant and Jamandari rebellions in many parts of northern and western India also created a havoc. Emergence of new states. You know that 3 new states emerged as Mughal provinces, old Mughal provinces they were, and now they became Awadh, Bengal and Hyderabad, which we have read in detail. Next is your Watan Jagirs, were Rajput principalities, which were from the time of Akbar, they were getting some benefits. And third is seized their independence, means the Marathas, Sikhs and Jats, they were declaring themselves independence and they were no more following any of the British rulers. So these are all the things which you need to study, and this completes your chapter here. And once you go through the chapter, you can find most of the things that are present in the chapters. And I hope you have got the concept of this chapter clear. So that's all for the chapter. And in the current time, you will see that the French Revolution was going on and what changes were going in different parts of the world. You can go through the NCERT book and you can read that and you can find out from that. That's all from my side. It's signing off, Prabhash. Thank you.